if a cop says, let's see some ID, then you'd expect that, you're going to reach in your pocket and get it.
Yeah. So the police came on the scene and asked him for his ID, and then that's...
He reached for his ID and they shot him.
Wow.
And the bullet went through him, it ricocheted, it hit the cop in the leg, and then the cop shot him again.
But I will not stand for disrespect upon my brother, upon my neighbor, whether they be in the millionaire mansion or be on the sidewalk. So one day at a time, let's stop these riots and let's hold hands.
This is Rudkowski of WeAreChange.org here in Venice Beach, California, where last night behind me an unarmed homeless man, Brendon Glenn, was murdered by the Los Angeles Police Department. We actually talked to someone who claims to be a witness of the murder, and for his own safety and security, he decided not to show his face in this interview, but this is what he had to say about what he saw last night.
Last night I saw what went down, and the cop said, let's see some ID, and the kid reached for his ID and the cop shot him. The bullet went through his chest, it ricocheted off the wall and it hit the cop in the leg, and then the cop shot him again and killed him.
Holy cow.
The kid was crying for about 3 minutes, why'd you do this, why'd you do this? And then he died. That kid was running around drunk, but he was coming off a crack, and he was making new friends at the skate park, and the cops just gave him the royal treatment, and I wish that the kid could have just cooperated. This wouldn't happen. But if a cop says, let's see some ID, then you'd expect that you're going to reach in your pocket and get it.
Yeah. So the police came on the scene and asked him for his ID, and then that's...
He reached for his ID and they shot him.
Wow.
And the bullet went through him, it ricocheted, it hit the cop in the leg, and then the cop shot him again.
Wow. 2 shots.
Yeah, 2 shots.
And you were a witness to all this?
Yeah.
And you saw it happen?
Yeah, me and my friend saw it. We were right across the street.
Wow.
So that's all I got to say.
Thank you. To get a full understanding of the story, we also talked to a gentleman who just saw Brendon Glenn right before his death.
There was evident that he was, he was broken down. I saw him. Let's see. He wanted to talk to me. He really wanted to talk to me, and really wanted. He was going through some problem. He was talking about his family problems. He wanted me to take care of his dog if he couldn't take care of it, and he wanted to tell me some things intimately, closely. So he came and he was I think he was going around and interacting with other people in socially inappropriate ways, maybe. But he was he was just whatever. Can you? Some people would say socially inappropriate. He was trying to express himself and having trouble doing it, and we've all been there. What am I going to say? I think, in my opinion, this is my opinion, yeah, he's a young guy, doesn't know how to use his strength. He's a little bit intoxicated. Some people are intimidated by that, and they don't know how to respond.
But he was giving hugs?
I know I don't know how many people he tried to do that to, but I saw him. I saw him trying to give hugs to, I think, one of the other people who was right there with me.
To get a better understanding of who Brendon Glenn was, we also talked to his good friend and now the owner of his dog that Brendon was trying to feed last night on this street.
The first time I met him, he welcomed me with open arms, gave me a hug, and called me a brother. We're out here, we all stick together as family, and
you guys can help yourselves.
he would go out of his way to try to help someone find food. If there's an elderly person that was homeless and there's a feeding coming out, he tried to make sure that there is people out there that got to eat first, so that people didn't have a meal for so long. That way people got fed. He would always sit there, pass a bowl to people around, share whatever he had. His dog, the reason he was out here last night was trying to get food, begging and asking for money for food for his dog. And there's a confrontation, and they got in it with the cops from everything that I've heard so far, and they shot him. And there are people out here, if you see people angry, pissed, because they feel like there hasn't been a change made. how can there be a change made if you keep on yelling anger, inciting more anger? If you want to have anyone responsible, have the ones responsible who pulled the trigger. There are some cops out there who are nice. There's not all bad cops, but there are ones out there who, right around near the first of the month when everybody gets paid, or whenever they get their GR stuff in, that's whenever the increased ticketing on the beach here happens. If you take a look at the dates on the tickets given by the cops that correlates with the times of when people get paid, then you can see the discrepancy in how they target. That is a form of targeting. All from what I know is that he was out here looking for food from his dog after he went up to the Spy Network on Westminster Avenue and 7th at the First Southern Baptist, and he supposedly couldn't get none, so he came down here trying to search for food for his dog, and he got shot. I wasn't here at the time. I'm going from information that I've found out so far since I've been here. And he's always been nice to me, so I'm here supporting him, standing up for an injustice that should not have happened. A person that does have no weapon on him, nothing. If anything, it should have been a tase or something like that. But a physical with a gun, they could have restrained him with a taser. How many guys bigger than me do they shoot with a freaking taser?
That's true. Is there anything else you want to say to the people out there, or just about the current situation?
Well, all I can say is understand everything that goes on before you open up your mouth, because if you don't understand everything that goes on, then is when angers, then is when words that get said that does not need to be said. And then that's when people close themselves off. Don't close yourself off to what's going on, no matter how hard it may be. Stand up and fight for what's right.
Drizzle, I miss you. And forever will remember the conversation. But I ask for a moment of silence for somebody who is innocent. And if you punched him in the face, he would have smiled and said, "Give me more." It's laying to rest. And I do not have my friend here in the morning. Have a good day.
Quiet, please.
And who's right and who's wrong, and the facts are all up in the air until we have an opportunity to actually sift through everything.
But what I find interesting is many people who have different kind of approaches to reporting on this will take one side and just run with it. And when they do that, they kind of galvanize an audience who already has those preconceived notions. And you see a lot of kind of biased kind of reporting of what's on the ground here. You see a lot of people just calling these people thugs and looters.